meet my bride. Let's go for a ride in my newfangled automobile. Just where we will go, nobody knows, but it's sure a great way to feel. Behind the wheel of the speed meter steel, it's my newfangled automobile.
Hello and welcome to Vintage Car History. I'm Wild Bill. At the turn of the 20th century, the battle was on between gas, electric, and steam cars. Each had their pros, cons, and of course champions to their cause. As it turned out, the gas-powered cars eventually won the war, and only in the last decade or so have electric cars entered the fray. But was the man who championed the gas car a true internal combustion hero, or was he a traitor to his own cause? Let's take a brief look at the career of Andrew Riker and let you decide. Andrew Lawrence Riker was born in 1868 in New York. The man was born to be an engineer, inquisitive, highly intelligent, and had a particular love for all things electrical. His was not a wealthy family, so he did not receive a higher education. Instead, he went to the libraries and electrical shops of town, reading, learning, and asking questions. By the age of 16, he was a competent electrical engineer in his own right, even building his own electric tricycle. In 1888, Andrew had saved up the cash to start a business, the Riker Electric Motor Company in Brooklyn. He began to manufacture small electric motors, generators, and dynamos. Business proved to be booming, and his company grew quickly, as well as expanded their product offerings. Within 10 years, the company was the largest of its kind in New York, and Riker was a young and now wealthy man. Yet he still had the car bug and was interested in becoming a design engineer and manufacturer of automobiles. He made his first experimental four-wheeled electric car in 1894. Basically, he welded two Remington bicycles together with a frame between them to hold the seats, motor, and batteries. It was never put into production, but it did serve as a test platform for improved motor and battery designs. He began to make production electric vehicles in earnest 2 years later, though still it was only as a sideline of his overall company offerings. It was in 1899 that Andrew established his first company dedicated to making cars, the Riker Electric Vehicle Company, with a factory located in Elizabethport, New Jersey. He made quite the variety of vehicles: cars, trucks, vans, taxis, and more. All of his vehicles had one rather unusual feature. They had hub center steering, which was invented by Riker. This is where the pivot point for the front wheel is inside the hub itself, connected by a series of rods to the tiller. This type of steering can still be found in some modern high-end motorcycles and bicycles. Andrew's reputation for building high-quality vehicles made them highly sought after. By 1900, he was building fully enclosed electric coaches, 5-ton electric trucks, city buses, and a host of other rather expensive vehicles. Well-engineered, quiet, comfortable, even luxurious if you wanted, fast and easy to operate and maintain. Renamed the Riker Motor Vehicle Company in 1901, the Riker was amongst the most famous and celebrated electric cars in the USA. Rikers were found at the racetrack as well. One, the Riker Torpedo, set a U.S. electric car speed record of 57.1 miles per hour in 1901. That record would stand for another 10 years. Yet Andrew had been toying with some ideas to design his own gas engine, and did so in July of 1901. A 1667cc twin-cylinder engine, putting out a respectable 8 horsepower for the time, and mated it to a 3-speed transmission, also his own design. Despite all of his success in the electric car world, Riker was convinced that the internal combustion engine would be the future of the whole automotive industry worldwide. And so he sold his company to William Whitney, and his designs in hand went to another company that was making steam cars but wanted to get into the gas car business. And so Andrew Riker became vice president and chief engineer of Locomobile in 1902. His designs were state-of-the-art, and Locomobile very quickly became one of the most technologically advanced cars in America. He designed both 2- and 4-cylinder engines for the company's first gas car offerings, 3-speed sliding pinion transmissions, very rare for American cars at the time. And he also used an all-steel chassis in a day that most American cars had wood framing. Having his electrical background, his cars had generators driven by gears directly from the crankshaft and offered electric lighting. In 1904, he designed a massive 90-horsepower race car, calling it Old 16. This would become the first American-made car to win an international auto race, with George Robertson taking the checkered flag at the 1908 Vanderbilt Cup. By this time, Andrew knew just about anybody and everybody in the U.S. that designed cars, as well as many of the various supporters of the young industry. 2 of these supporters were publishers, Horace Sweatland, who printed the magazine The Automobile, and Peter Helt of the horseless carriage fame. These men wanted to unify the American auto industry so that U.S. car making as a whole can share ideas and technology, and thus outgrow Europe, who at the time was dominating the industry. A number of people were very interested in creating such an organization, including Henry Ford, Charles Kettering, and Thomas Edison. In 1905, Andrew went to a summit meeting in New York, along with over a dozen other automotive engineers and supporters. At that meeting, the Society of Automotive Engineers, or SAE, was formed. Andrew Riker was voted in as the first president of the society, a position he would hold for the next 3 years. Under his direction, SAE began to grow in both membership and importance. The SAE began to publish technical journals with new innovations and ideas for building cars with reasonably uniform safety and design minimum standards. SAE, of course, still exists today as an international organization researching and creating design and safety standards for automobiles and others across the world. It was directly due to the SAE that the U.S. auto industry focused on gas car production in the first quarter of the 20th century. One primary argument for that was logistical. It was easier to transport gas and build filling stations than construct the equivalent for electric cars at that time. Andrew Riker certainly helped lead the way, being a brilliant engineer, automotive inventor, and activist for the gas car cause. Was he a traitor to the electric car or a hero to the gas car? Maybe both. You decide. Thanks for watching Vintage Car History, and we'll see you next week. Peace.